Right now, millions of people are suffering through what's being called the superflu, and they're being told their only options are medications with serious side effects or just waiting it out. But what if I told you there's a third option? What if your body already has the power to beat this flu and all it needs is for you to remove the roadblocks and give it the right tools? In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that with a simple 14-day strategy that addresses the real causes of why you got sick in the first place. Now, before we dive into the solution, let me introduce myself and what we're going to cover today. Welcome to the 2-week strategy series. I'm Michael Bergman, researcher and health consultant with Adaptive Physiology. Today's episode is called the Superflu Solution, a 14-day natural recovery plan. This presentation is designed to give you a focused, practical plan to create real momentum and measurable change when you're dealing with influenza. Now, here's what makes this different from other flu advice you've heard. We're not just going to tell you to rest and drink fluids. We're going to give you a strategic day-by-day plan that addresses the actual root causes of why your immune system couldn't fight this off in the first place. Think about it. You were exposed to the same flu virus as other people, but you got sick and they didn't. Why? That's the question we're going to answer, and more importantly, we're going to give you the tools to fix it so this doesn't keep happening year after year. The practical application starts immediately. As you watch this, start thinking about which of your daily habits might be suppressing your immune system. We'll get specific very soon. Now, first let's talk about what we're actually dealing with this flu season. The 2025 to 2026 flu season is one of the most severe we've seen in over a decade. The H3N2 subclade K variant, what people are calling the superflu, is overwhelming health systems across the country. The numbers tell the story. Over 18 million illnesses in the United States alone, more than 230,000 hospitalizations, and over 9,300 deaths. And at least 33 states are reporting high or very high levels of influenza-like illness activity. H3N2 viruses are particularly associated with more severe outcomes across all age groups, but especially for the elderly and young children. These aren't just statistics. These are real people suffering, and many of them are being told there's nothing they can do except take antiviral medications or wait it out. But here's the critical thinking question I want you to ask. Why are some people getting severely ill while others in the same household barely get symptoms? Is it just luck, or is there something fundamentally different about their internal environment, their immune system strength, their stress levels, their nutrition? The answer to that question changes everything. So here's a practical tip you can start today. If you or someone in your family is currently sick, start documenting everything: what you're eating, how you're sleeping, your stress levels. This data will be invaluable as we move through the 14-day strategy. Now, let's talk about how this virus actually shows up in your body and what happens if it's not properly addressed. The typical superflu symptoms hit hard and fast. You'll experience sudden onset of high fever and chills, severe body aches and muscle pain that can be almost debilitating, intense headaches, extreme fatigue, and weakness that make it hard to even get out of bed, persistent dry cough and chest congestion, and sore throat with runny nose. But here's what concerns me more: the progression if this isn't addressed properly. Without proper immune support, your body struggles to clear the virus efficiently. This leads to prolonged illness that can last weeks instead of days. You become vulnerable to secondary infections like pneumonia because your immune system is already exhausted. And many people experience long-term fatigue as the body's resources become completely depleted. Now, I want you to think about someone who you know who never fully recovered from a flu. They got sick, seemed to get better, but then months later they're still dealing with fatigue, brain fog, or they keep getting sick over and over. That's not bad luck. That's what happens when the root cause isn't addressed. The body used all its resources just trying to survive the acute infection, but those resources are never replenished. Here's your quick win for today. If you're currently experiencing flu symptoms, I want you to cancel everything non essential for the next 3 days. I'm serious. Your body is in a fight for its life right now, and every bit of energy you spend on work, errands, or stress is energy that's not going towards healing. The most powerful medicine right now is rest, but not just lying on the couch watching TV. I mean actual restorative rest in a dark, quiet room. So, what does conventional medicine tell you to do about all of this? The conventional approach focuses almost entirely on symptom suppression. You'll typically be offered antiviral drugs like Tamiflu, which can sometimes reduce the duration of symptoms, but about a day if taken early enough. But let's talk about what that actually means. These medications come with their own set of problems. Nausea and vomiting are extremely common, and post marketing reports have documented rare but serious skin reactions and transient neuropsychiatric events. And here's something that should concern everyone. One 2024 to 2025 study found flu vaccine effectiveness at negative 26.9%, suggesting potential mismatch with new strains. Now, other studies show some benefit against severe disease, so I'm not saying vaccines are completely without value, but this highlights that they're not the perfect shield we've been told they are. But here's the bigger issue. None of this addresses the root cause of why your immune system was vulnerable in the first place. Now, this is where we need to start asking different questions. Instead of what drug treats this symptom, we need to ask why this symptom is occurring. What is my body trying to tell me? What does my body actually need to heal? And most importantly, what's interfering with my body's natural healing ability? Think about it this way. If your body has been fighting off viruses and bacteria successfully your entire life, you're exposed to thousands of pathogens every single day, and your immune system handles them without you even knowing. So when you get severely ill from the flu, the question isn't really, how do I kill this virus? Your immune system knows how to do that already. The real question is, why didn't my immune system stop this before it got this bad? That's what we're going to address with our 14-day strategy. So here's a quick practical tip. If you're currently taking antiviral medications, don't stop taking them without talking to your doctor. But you can start implementing our natural strategies alongside conventional treatment to support your body's healing process. To fix a problem, you first have to understand what caused it. So let's talk about the three core categories of stress that break down your immune system. At Adaptive Physiology, we teach that all diseases and illnesses come from three types of stress: chemical, physical, and emotional. Let's break these down specifically for immune function. Chemical stress includes things like processed foods and sugars, which directly suppress immune cell function. Environmental toxins like PFAS and BPA, which are now found in the blood of virtually every American and are known to disrupt immune response, and agricultural chemicals like pesticides, which burden your liver and prevent proper detoxification. Physical stress includes sedentary lifestyle and poor posture, which compress your spine and interfere with your nerve communication to your immune organs. Previous injuries and traumas that may have caused the structural problems you don't even know about, and repetitive strain from daily habits that create chronic inflammation. Emotional stress includes chronic anxiety and worry, which flood your body with cortisol that suppress immunity. Unresolved trauma that keeps your nervous system in constant fight or flight mode, and high pressure work or life situations that never give your body a chance to rest and repair. I want you to do something right now. Look at that list and honestly assess which stressors apply to your life. Most people will find that they have multiple stressors in each category. And here's the critical insight: these stressors don't just add up, they multiply. Chemical stress makes you more vulnerable to physical stress. Physical stress amplifies emotional stress. Emotional stress weakens your ability to handle chemical stress. It's a vicious cycle. But here's the good news: it also means that removing even one major stressor can have a cascading positive effect throughout your entire system. Research has confirmed this. Chronic psychological stress is a known risk factor for increased susceptibility to respiratory illness, and the stress hormone cortisol can suppress crucial antiviral defenses. What's the practical application here? I want you to identify your top 3 stressors, one from each category if possible. Write them down, and these are going to be your primary targets over the next 14 days. Don't try to fix everything all at once. Strategic, focused changes create lasting results. So now that we understand what's breaking down your body, let's talk about the framework for building it back up. Here are the 5 keys to health and optimal function, which are our framework for natural healing. Key number 1, proper nerve supply, means restoring communication between your brain and body through chiropractic care and spinal exercises. Your nervous system controls your immune response, so if nerve communication is blocked, your immunity suffers. Key number 2 is proper exercise, which means moving your body to stimulate circulation and immunity. This doesn't mean running marathons, it means strategic movement that supports healing. Key number 3 is proper nutrition, providing the raw materials for cellular repair. Your body can't build new immune cells without the right building blocks. Key number 4 is proper sleep, the critical time for healing, repair, and detoxification. This is when your immune system does its most important work. And key number 5 is emotional healing, because managing stress to calm the nervous system and allow the healing response to activate. I want to acknowledge something important here. You might be thinking, how can chiropractic help with the flu? That doesn't make sense. And you'd be right to be skeptical. There's not a lot of valid clinical scientific evidence that supports chiropractic care directly affecting the immune system or treating infectious diseases like influenza. But, and this is crucial, it can address physical stressors on the nervous system. Think of it this way: if your spine is compressed and misaligned, nerve signals from your brain to your immune organs are disrupted. It's like trying to use your phone with only 2 bars of signal. Technically it works, but not optimally. Chiropractic care aims to remove that interference. Now, will it cure your flu? Not exactly, but it will help your body function better overall, including immune function. The evidence suggests yes. Each of these 5 keys works the same way. They don't directly kill the virus, but they create the optimal environment for your body to heal itself. Practical tip: you don't need to implement all 5 keys perfectly right away. Our 14-day strategy will introduce them gradually, but start thinking now about which key might be the easiest for you to improve first. Quick wins build momentum. So here's how we're going to put all of this action over the next 14 days. Introducing the 14-day strategy. This 2-week strategy uses a progressive implementation approach. We start with foundational changes that create the most impact. Then we gradually layer in additional strategies each day. We systematically reduce stressors step by step, and we focus on building sustainable lifelong habits, not just quick fixes that disappear. After 2 weeks, the philosophy behind this is simple. We're not trying to change everything overnight. Drastic changes are hard to sustain and can actually create more stress, which is counterproductive when you're trying to heal. Instead, we make small strategic shifts that your body and mind can integrate naturally. And critically, we track our progress. Each day, you'll note what you implemented, record your energy levels and mood, and observe how your body feels. This serves two purposes. It helps you see progress, which builds motivation, and it teaches you what works for your unique body, which creates independence. Here's what I need you to understand about this tracking component. Most people skip this part because they think it's not important, but it's actually the most important part. Why? Because you are unique. The research gives us general principles, but your specific body with your specific health history, your specific stressors, your specific genetics is going to respond differently than anyone else. The only way to truly learn what works for you is to pay attention and document what you observe. This is how you become your own doctor and really a scientist over time. Think of it like learning a new skill. You wouldn't expect to play piano without practicing and noticing what works, right? Healing is the same. So here's a practical application for you. Before you start day one, get a notebook or create a notes file in your phone. Each night, spend just 2 minutes writing down what you implemented that day, your energy level on a scale from 1 to 10, your mood and any symptoms you noticed, and that's it. 2 minutes. But those 2 minutes will give you insights worth thousands of dollars in medical tests. And remember, life happens. If you miss a day or can't complete everything, don't stress. Stress is literally the enemy here. Just pick up where you are and keep moving. All right. So let's get into the specific daily plan. Days 1 through 3 establish your foundation. So day 1, reduce processed sugar. Why? Sugar inflames the body and suppresses immune cell function, making it harder to fight infections. Studies show that consuming sugar significantly impairs white blood cell function for hours. Implement key number 4. Aim for 8+ hours of sleep. Sleep is when your body produces infection-fighting cytokines and antibodies. Day number 2, reduce screen time before bed because blue light from screens disrupts melatonin production, leading to poor quality sleep. And this is non-restorative sleep. You might be sleeping, but you're not getting that restorative sleep. The implement key here is number 3. Drink 2 to 3 liters of filtered water because proper hydration helps flush toxins and supports lymphatic function, which is crucial for immune cell movement. Day 3, reduce news overload. This is super important. Constant negative news or any negative content that you're consuming is a major emotional stressor that keeps your body in a fight or flight state. The implement key number 5, practice 5 minutes of deep belly breathing 3 times a day. This activates the parasympathetic rest and digest nervous system. Let's talk about why we're starting with these specific 3 actions. Sleep is the first because research shows that sleeping less than 6 hours per night around the time you're fighting an infection is associated with a significantly reduced antibody response. In other words, your poor sleep can cut your immune response in half. That's massive. Hydration on day 2 builds on the sleep foundation because proper hydration helps your body flush out the metabolic waste products from all those immune cells that are fighting the virus. And day 3's focus on stress reduction is critical because even if you're sleeping and hydrating perfectly, chronic stress will undermine everything. Now, here's where the critical thinking comes in. Notice that we're not telling you to add a bunch of supplements or buy expensive products on day 1. That's what most people want. They want the magic bullet. Why? Because the most powerful healing tools are free sleep, like sleep, water, and breathing. Get these free things first, and everything else becomes more effective. Practical wins for day 1, don't just try to reduce sugar. Be very specific. Commit to 0 added sugar for 24 hours. That means reading labels. For day 2, set an alarm for 1 hour before bed to remind you to shut off screens. Ideally, at least 2 hours before bedtime would be nice. Use that hour for reading, gentle stretching, or conversation. For day 3, download a free meditation app or simply set 3 alarms throughout the day labeled Breathe. When they go off, take 5 slow, deep breaths. Make it so easy you can't fail. So, by day 4, you should be feeling the effects of better sleep, hydration, and stress management. Now we build on that. So, day 4, reduce industrial seed oils. Oils like canola, soy, and corn are highly inflammatory and disrupt cellular health and at a fundamental level. Implement key number 3 here. Add olive oil, avocado, or coconut oil to each meal. Fats are crucial for hormone production and reducing inflammation. Day 5, reduce sedentary time. Sitting for long periods compresses the spine and stagnates lymphatic flow, which is vital for immune function. Implement key number 2 here by going for a 20-minute walk every day. This stimulates circulation and moves immune cells throughout the body. Day 6, reduce caffeine and alcohol. Both can disrupt sleep, dehydrate the body, and act as stressors on the nervous system. Implement key number 1. Perform gentle neck and low back stretches. This reduces physical stress on the central nervous system. Let's address something important about day 5's walking recommendation. Some people hear exercise and think they need to start training for a marathon. That's not what we're talking about. When your body is fighting an infection, intense exercise can actually suppress immune function further because it creates more stress. What we want is gentle movement, enough to stimulate circulation and lymphatic flow, but not so much that it depletes your energy reserves. A 20-minute walk is perfect. If you're very weak, even 10 minutes is fine. The key is consistency, not intensity. On day 6, when we talk about reducing caffeine and alcohol, I know many people panic because coffee is their main source of energy. But here's what you need to understand. If you need caffeine in order to function, that's a sign that your body is exhausted and you're running on artificial stimulation. The goal of this 14-day strategy is to restore your natural energy, not to prop yourself up with stimulants. Research has shown that supplementation with vitamin D has been shown in meta-analysis to reduce the risk of acute respiratory infections and shorten symptom duration. We'll talk more about supplementation on day 11, but I mention it now because many people are severely deficient, which impairs immune function. Wintertime is not the time where viruses are more deadly. It's vitamin D deficiency season, not cold and flu season. So vitamin D is a great practical application for day 4. Clean out your pantry. Look at every oil containing product and check the ingredients. Anything with soybean oil, canola oil, corn oil, vegetable oil, or margarine needs to go. Replace these with olive oil, coconut oil, or avocado oil. For day 5, schedule your walk like an appointment. Put it in your calendar. Set an alarm for days. And for day 6, if you absolutely must have morning coffee, just have 1 cup, but none before 10 a.m. Try to wait as long as you can and get some sunlight exposure on those eyes. That'll help you wake up without coffee. So you're 1 week in now. This is where people usually hit a plateau or want to quit. We're going to push through by addressing some deeper issues. On day 7, reduce non-organic produce. Minimize exposure to pesticides, which are chemical stressors that burden the liver and immune system. Implement key number 3. Focus on organic plant-based diet every day. This provides clean nutrients and reduces digestive load. Day 8, reduce negative self-talk. Your internal monologue is a powerful emotional stressor. Self-criticism activates the stress response just as strongly as external threats do. Implement key number 5. Write down 3 things you are grateful for. This simple act can shift your mindset and reduce stress hormones. Day 9, reduce artificial fragrances found in detergents, air fresheners, and perfumes. These are endocrine disrupting chemicals that interfere with hormone balance. Implement key number 3. Add a serving of kimchi, sauerkraut, or kombucha to support your gut microbiome, the heart of your immune system. Day 8 might seem strange to some people. What does negative self talk have to do with the flu? Everything, actually. The research is clear. Your mental and emotional state directly impacts your immune function. When you're constantly criticizing yourself, worrying, or focusing on negative thoughts, your body releases cortisol and other stress hormones that suppress immune cell activity. It's not woo woo, it's basic physiology and psychology. The gratitude practice on day 8 isn't about being positive for positivity's sake. It's a strategic intervention to shift your nervous system from sympathetic fight or flight to parasympathetic rest and digest. Now, let's talk about day 9 and environmental chemicals. PFAS or BPAs, which are called forever chemicals, are linked to decreased antibody response to vaccines, according to the EPA and Environmental Working Group. These chemicals are everywhere in our water, in our food, packaging, our personal care products. You can't eliminate all exposure, but you can significantly reduce your toxic load by making smart choices. Practical tip: for day 7, if organic is too expensive for everything, use the Dirty Dozen list. You can look up, just type in Dirty Dozen and you'll get Dirty Dozen non-organic produce and you'll get a list. Buy organic for the produce with the highest pesticide residue. Strawberries, spinach, apples, these are high on the list of the Dirty Dozen with the most chemicals in them. And conventional for the clean 15. Things like avocado, corn, pineapple, etc. For day 8, set a phone reminder for 3 times during the day, morning, afternoon, and evening. When it goes off, write down 1 thing you're grateful for. Make it specific, not generic. For day 9, start with the low-hanging fruit, which switch to fragrance-free laundry detergent and stop using air fresheners. Maybe use something like Palo Santo or sage if you want some kind of smell good stuff. Your nose will adjust in a few days and you'll realize how overwhelming artificial fragrances were. We're in the home stretch now. Days 10 through 12 introduce some more advanced strategies. Day 10, reduce prolonged sitting. Even with breaks, long periods of sitting are a physical stressor. We will now make sitting therapeutic. Implement key number 1. Place a 4-inch foam roll at your lower rib cage for 20 minutes while sitting. This helps restore the natural spinal curve, and it turns sitting into therapy. Day 11, reduce nutrient poor meals and avoid empty calories that don't provide the building blocks for immune cells. Implement key number 3 here. Consider supplementation with zinc and vitamin D. After consulting a provider, both are proven to support immune response and shorten illness. Day 12, reduce rushed, shallow breathing. This is a symptom of chronic stress and keeps the nervous system on high alert. Implement key number 5. Try a 10-minute guided meditation. This trains your brain to disengage from the stress response. The lumbar roll technique on day 10 might seem odd if you've never heard of it before. Here's what's happening. Most people have lost the natural curve in their low back from years of sitting. This puts compression on the spinal cord and nerves that exit the spine and control your organs, including your immune system. By using a foam roll strategically placed at the base of your rib cage, you're creating extension in the spine, which helps restore that curve over time. Will 20 minutes Will 20 minutes one day fix years of damage? No, unfortunately. But if you do this consistently, combined with stretches and movement we've already implemented, you're creating real structural change. Especially also if you're getting chiropractic care, that would be fantastic for your immune system. On day 11, we finally talk about supplements. Here's my philosophy. Supplements are called supplements because they're meant to supplement a healthy diet and lifestyle, not replace them. That's why we waited until day 11. But zinc and vitamin D are special cases because they're proven to help with the immune system. Research shows that zinc supplementation has been found to significantly shorten the duration of acute respiratory infection symptoms by nearly half in some analysis. That's huge, but, and this is important, you need to consult with a healthcare provider about dosing because too much zinc can actually impair immune function. For day 12, meditation, I know some people resist this because they think meditation is religious or they don't have time or they're not good at it. None of that matters. Meditation is simply focused attention. 10 minutes, that's it. Use a free app like Headspace or Insight Timer if you need guidance. Practical application for day 10, you can buy a foam roller online for under $20 or roll up a thick towel about 4 inches in diameter. I've also used an empty plastic water bottle or even a full water bottle if you want some kind of cooling effect. For day 11, if you don't have access to a healthcare provider, general guidelines are 15 to 30 milligrams of zinc and 2,000 to 4,000 international units of vitamin D for adults. But please do research research this for your specific situation. Everybody's bodies are different. Everybody's situation is different. Ideally, the best way to get vitamin D is through sunlight, or you can get a UV lamp. For day 12, schedule your meditation for the same time every day. Consistency is much more important than duration. Now, this is the final 2 days, but these aren't about adding more. They're about integration and planning for the future. Day 13, return to normal mindset. Normal is what led to illness. The goal is to create a new, healthier baseline, not to go back to old habits. Implement key number 2. Schedule your walks or exercise for the next week. Make it a non-negotiable appointment in your calendar. Day 14, reduce information overwhelm. You don't need to do everything at once. Stick to the basics that you've learned work for you. Implement, review, and consolidate. This is super important. Review your notes. Hopefully you've been taking notes for the past 14 days. Identify the 3 to 5 most impactful changes and commit to making them permanent. Day 13's return to normal concept is probably the most important insight in this entire presentation. Here's what happens to most people. They get sick, they do some healthy things to recover, they start feeling better, and then they immediately go back to all the habits and stressors that made them sick in the first place. Then they're shocked when they get sick again in a few months. The cycle continues because they never address the root cause. Your normal before you got sick included chemical stressors, physical stressors, and emotional stressors that overwhelmed your immune system. If you return to that normal, you'll get the same results. Instead, we want to create a new baseline where these healthy habits become your normal, your new normal. Day 14 is about sustainability. After 14 days of implementing new strategies, your brain might be overwhelmed, trying to remember everything. That's okay. You're not supposed to do everything forever. The review and consolidate exercise helps you identify which changes made the biggest difference for you specifically. Maybe you noticed that removing sugar had a massive impact, but the gratitude journaling didn't really resonate. That's fine, but we're all different, so double down on what works for you. The quote I want to leave with you from day 14 perfectly captures our philosophy. The whole goal is to give you clarity, a clear roadmap, and the education to become your own doctor over time instead of staying dependent on anyone else. That's what these 14 days are really about, building your own expertise about your own body. Practical application on day 13, literally schedule next week's activities now. Put recurring calendar events for your walks, your sleep schedule, meal prep time, whatever you need. Make these non negotiable. On day 14, set aside 30 minutes to really review your notes. What patterns did you see? When did you feel your best? When did you struggle? Write a simple my top 5 rules list, or try to keep track of everything that captures your key takeaways, and put it somewhere you'll see it every single day. So what should you actually expect after following this 14-day strategy? Well, we're going to cover that right now. Here's what you can expect: improved energy and mental clarity. Your brain fog should lift as inflammation decreases. Reduced symptom severity and duration. If you were sick, you should be recovering faster than expected. Better quality, more restorative sleep. You, you should be waking up feeling more refreshed. Lower perceived stress and improved mood. You should feel more capable of handling daily challenges and a feeling of empowerment over your health. You should definitely be feeling more control and not helpless, and a clear understanding of what works for your body. You should have concrete data about your personal responses. But beyond the physical changes, what we're really talking about is a shift from surviving to thriving. Before, you were reactive, waiting for symptoms to appear and then responding. Now you're proactive, addressing root causes before symptoms develop. Before, you were symptom focused, just trying to suppress whatever was bothering you. Now you're cause focused, understanding why symptoms occur. Before, you had high stress and low energy, but now you're building resilience and high energy. Before, you felt dependent on doctors and medications. Now you feel empowered and educated, hopefully. I want to be honest with you about something. Not everyone will experience all these changes in just 14 days. Some of you might feel dramatically better. Others might only notice subtle improvements. This depends on how sick you were to start with, how many chronic stressors you had, how well you implemented the strategies, and your individual healing capacity. That's okay. The goal of these 14 days isn't to fix everything. It's to create momentum and teach you the process. Real lasting healing takes time. What you're learning here is a methodology you can apply for the rest of your life. Every time you get sick, every time you feel run down, every time you face a health challenge, you'll have these tools to fall back on. The research supports this approach. By reducing or eliminating stressors and implementing natural strategies, you can completely reverse the disease process and restore optimal health. But it's a process, not an event. Think of it like physical fitness. You can't go to the gym once and expect to be in shape, but if you go consistently, follow good principles, and give your body what it needs, results are inevitable. So here's a practical application. At the end of our 14 days, take an after assessment. Retake your energy levels, mood, and symptoms and compare them to day 1. Even small improvements are worth celebrating because they prove the process works. Then commit to continuing your top 3 to 5 strategies for at least another 30 days. That's when real habit change happens. Now, I want to dive in deeper into each of the 5 keys, starting with the one that's probably the least familiar to most people: proper nerve supply. Your nervous system is the master control system for everything in your body, including your immune response. Physical stressors can cause spinal misalignments called subluxations that interfere with this vital communication pathway. It's like static on a phone line. The message is trying to get through, but it's distorted. Now, finding the right chiropractor is crucial because not all chiropractors do corrective work. Here are the 7 questions you should ask. Do you take x-rays to find subluxations? Do you get listings off of those x-rays to show where to adjust? Do you take post x-rays after the treatment to document structural changes? Are your goals to reshape and restore the natural spinal curves? If not, what the heck are you doing? Are you familiar with correcting disc injuries? That is super important. And do you work on post-surgical patients? And can you reverse arthritis? If a chiropractor answers yes to all 7 of these questions, they are pretty likely to be able to restore proper nerve supply and stimulate the healing response. Now, we have gotten thousands of questions over the years. Oh, do you know a chiropractor here? Do you know a chiropractor in my town or this city or this country? Honestly, not a lot of chiropractors are going to say yes to those questions. That is super unfortunate, but we do offer a training program that helps train chiropractors in these corrective techniques. It's available on our website. So if you're a chiropractor, please go check out our training course because we need more chiropractors that do this kind of stuff. So let me address the skepticism that some of you might be feeling about chiropractic if you don't know anything about it. Some people might call chiropractic pseudoscience. And I want to be clear, I'm not claiming that just one chiropractic adjustment will cure your flu. What I am saying is that if your spine is misaligned from years of poor posture, injuries, and stress, the nerves that exit your spine and control your immune organs are being compromised. This is basic anatomy. The nerves that control your thymus, spleen, and bone marrow, all critical immune organs, exit from specific levels of your spine. If those areas are compressed or misaligned, nerve communication is disrupted. Now, will fixing that cure everything? Not exactly, but it will help your body function better. The evidence and clinical experience says yes. Think about it this way. If you had a kinked garden hose, would you expect optimal water flow? Of course not. Your nervous system works the same way. So here's a practical tip. Use those 7 questions to find a qualified chiropractor in your area. Call offices and ask their receptionist if the doctor can answer these questions. Most standard chiropractors who just do maintenance adjustments won't be able to say yes to all 7. That's okay. They serve a purpose, but for corrective work, you need someone trained differently. If you can't find anyone or can't afford it right now, focus on the spinal stretches and exercises we've already covered. We have several videos on the channel that demonstrate these exercises. They're not as effective as professional corrective care, but they're still very beneficial. And if you do go to a corrective care chiropractor, they hopefully will give you specific stretches for your situation. You might have to have more than just neck and low back stretches or exercises. You may need hip stabilization exercises. You may need to work on your lower extremities, etc. And seriously consider the lumbar roll technique we discussed on day 10. Do this throughout the day, 20 minutes on with the foam roll and take a 10-minute break without the foam roll. It's a powerful tool you can do at home for free. Now, let's talk about the 2 keys that give most people the fastest results: nutrition and sleep. For nutrition, think of it as building blocks for a new you. Your body is literally rebuilding itself constantly. Every cell in your immune system has a lifespan, measured in days or weeks. If you don't provide quality building materials, your body can't build quality cells. The protocol is simple. Switch to a plant-heavy organic diet, hydrate with 2 to 3 liters of filtered water daily, include fermented foods with every meal to support your gut health, and incorporate healthy fats like avocado and olive oil. For sleep, understand that it's the ultimate healer. Your body cannot heal or fight infection without deep sleep. This is when your immune system is most active in repairing damage and building defenses. Prioritizing sleep is non-negotiable. The sleep protocols are aim for a consistent bedtime and wake up time, even on weekends. Make your room completely dark and cool, around 65 to 68 degrees. Avoid screens for at least 1 hour before bed and no caffeine after 12 p.m. Let's address a critical piece of research about sleep. Insufficient sleep impairs the body's ability to produce antibodies, and this blunted response is comparable in magnitude to 2 months of natural antibody waning. Think about that. One night, just one night of bad sleep can set your immune system back 2 months. That's not an exaggeration. That's from Current Biology, a top tier scientific journal. This is why we focused on sleep from day one. On the nutrition side, I want to emphasize the fermented foods component because most people overlook this. Your gut contains about 70 to 80% of your immune system. The bacteria in your gut, your microbiome, train your immune cells, producing immune supporting compounds and create a barrier against pathogens. When your gut health is compromised, your immunity suffers. Fermented foods like kimchi, sauerkraut, and kombucha contain beneficial bacteria that support a healthy microbiome. You don't need expensive probiotic supplements, just eat fermented foods regularly. Now, about the plant-based diet recommendation. This doesn't mean you have to become a vegan. It means the majority of your plate should be vegetables, fruits, legumes, and whole grains. You can still include high-quality animal products like wild-caught fish or grass-fed meat, but they should be the supporting actors, not the main event. Why? Because plants provide fiber, antioxidants, and phytonutrients that directly support immune function. Animal products are harder to digest and can create inflammation if consumed in large quantities, especially when you're sick. Practical application here for sleep: start tonight. Set your bedroom temperature to 67 degrees. Cover any light sources, including that little LED on your phone charger, and commit to being in bed with lights off at the same time for the next 7 days. For nutrition, make one meal tomorrow completely plant-based and include a fermented food. See how you feel. Now, before we wrap up, I want to share something about getting more personalized help if you need it. The healing process can be quite complicated and overwhelming. If you'd like a guide on your journey, I offer one-on-one consultations to go deep into your unique health history and labs. I don't diagnose or prescribe, but I do build you a personalized 2 to 4 week strategy plan, and I explain the science behind every step. You can book a consultation at adaptivephysiology.com. The goal is to give you clarity and the education to become your own doctor, not to stay dependent on anyone else. I want to be upfront about why I offer consultations and what they're for. Everyone's situation is different. You might have complicated medical history, multiple health conditions, abnormal lab results, or unique circumstances that make a generalized 14-day plan insufficient. That's where individualized work becomes valuable. In a consultation, I spend time really understanding your complete picture, not just your flu symptoms, but your entire health history, your traumas, your stressors, your daily habits, your sleep patterns, your nutrition, everything. Then I create a strategic plan that's specifically designed for you, not a generic template. But here's what's most important. The goal is always education and empowerment. I don't want you to need me forever. I want to teach you how to think about your health so that over time you become your own expert. You learn to read your body's signals, you understand cause and effect, you know what to do when symptoms arise. That's true health, not dependent on any practitioner, natural or conventional type of healer. So, even if you don't book a consultation with me, apply this principle with any healthcare provider or consultant that you work with. Ask questions, demand explanations. Don't just accept, take this pill or do this treatment without understanding why. Always ask why. A good practitioner, whether they're a medical doctor, chiropractor, nutritionist, or naturopath, they should welcome your questions and help you understand the reasoning behind their recommendations. If they get defensive or dismissive, find someone else immediately. If you're ready to take your healing journey to the next level, I want to tell you about our 4-week strategy guide. The Superflu Solution, your comprehensive 4-week strategy for lasting immune health. Now, this mini course goes deeper into what we can cover here in the 2-week strategy series. It includes an in-depth ebook that breaks down the science and gives you a comprehensive roadmap, plus a full video guide where I walk you through everything step by step. You can get lifetime access to this course for just $25 at adaptivephysiology.com. But if you're interested in more than just this topic, if you want to access all of our mini courses plus our exclusive library of videos, articles, and ebooks, then I'd recommend becoming a member for just $30 a month. It's the best value if you're serious about understanding how your body works and optimizing your health naturally. Head over to Adaptive Physiology to learn more. We've covered a lot today. We started by understanding the scale of the superflu problem. 18 million illnesses, over 230,000 hospitalizations, and more than 9,000 deaths. We looked at how the conventional approach focuses on symptom suppression without addressing root causes. Then we identified the 3 core causes of illness: chemical, physical, and emotional stress. We introduced the 5 keys to health as our framework for natural healing, and most importantly, we laid out our specific 14-day strategy that progressively implements these principles in a sustainable way. But here's what I really want you to take away from this. You have way more control over your health than you've been led to believe. Yes, the flu virus is real. Yes, it can be dangerous, especially for the vulnerable populations. But your body's response to that virus is largely determined by your internal environment, your immune strength, your stress levels, your nutrition, your sleep, your nervous system function, and all of those things are within your control to improve. The 14-day strategy we outlined isn't a magic cure or magic bullet. It's a methodology for creating the optimal conditions for your body to heal itself. Your body knows how to fight viruses. It's been doing it successfully for your entire life. When it fails to do so effectively, the question to ask is, what's preventing my body from doing what it naturally knows how to do? Over these 14 days, you systematically remove obstacles and provide resources. You reduce chemical stressors like sugar and processed oils. You reduce physical stressors through movement and spinal care. You reduce emotional stressors through breathing and meditation and gratitude. And you provide resources like quality nutrition, adequate sleep, proper hydration, targeted supplementation. The result? A body that can heal itself the way it was designed to. Now, I know some of you are thinking, this sounds great, but it's overwhelming. I can't do all of this. And you know what? You're right. Don't do all of it. Do what you can. Start with the biggest impact items first. Sleep, hydration, removing processed sugar. Just those 3 things alone will make a massive difference. Once those become habit, add the next layer. Progress, not perfection. And remember, track your results. Your body is constantly giving you feedback, so pay attention. Learn its language, and over time you'll develop an intuition about what you need that's more accurate than any doctor's advice because it's specific to you. Members of adaptivephysiology.com have access to the in-depth courses covering these topics in even greater detail. If you found this valuable and want to go deeper, I encourage you to check that out. Thank you for investing this time in your health education. The knowledge you gain today is yours to keep and use for the rest of your life. Share it with your family and friends and help others understand that they have more power over their health than they've been told. Stay healthy, stay empowered, and remember, you are your own best doctor.